Breaking news today, Putin considers Finland to be comparable to Crimea. Kremlin officials are intentionally causing a refugee crisis for the second year running. It bolstered President Alexander Lukashenko of Belarus's threats to flood Europe with migrants in late 2021, specifically aiming for Poland and the Baltic nations. Now, hundreds of migrants and refugees have been pushed by Russian authorities towards Finland's eastern border over the past few weeks. Government officials in Finland and Estonia have threatened to close their borders with Russia, prompting the former to do so yesterday. Meanwhile, representatives from the EU border agency Frontex have promised to send agents to the border with Finland. Even though few believe them, Russia has, predictably, denied any wrongdoing. It's safe to assume that Moscow is taking these measures in response to Finland's new defense pact with the US and its recent membership in NATO. A lot of news outlets have taken this new development in Russia's hybrid war as retaliation, arguing that the West is threatening Russia's security perimeter in order to provoke anarchy on its own borders. However, Russia's objectives extend far beyond its security calculus. These deeds are crucial in bolstering Putin's domestic propaganda narratives that are based on fear, and he has been at war with Ukraine for nearly 2 years. To rationalize Russia's slow but steady shift toward a semi-permanent war footing, he can use the impending danger of NATO as a wedge issue between the Russian people and their means of subsistence. Strategically, the action fits into Russia's larger plans for its geopolitical future, which include its ideas about rival hegemonies in the north and east of Europe. For decades prior to last year, Finland maintained a consistent neutral stance towards Russia. The Russian invasion of Ukraine, however, caused a national reckoning in Finland, and by the end of 2022, support for NATO membership had surged to nearly 80%. Even though Finland was never a Soviet republic, it has been the target of Russian aggression on more than one occasion. It famously fought off a Soviet invasion in World War II after being under Russian occupation for more than a century, until 1917. Thus, as expected, the Kremlin has taken advantage of Finland's reorientation to play the victim card, painting the current situation on the Finnish-Russian border as an attack on Russians instead of a crisis that has arisen in Finland. Penny Forsström, a senior researcher at Finland's National Defense University and a retired lieutenant colonel in the Finnish Defense Forces, told me that Russia has to maintain appearances and create narratives like these for both themselves and the Russian population. Now they are claiming that we are to blame by utilizing every aspect of our actions, such as closing the border. The governor of the Russian region bordering Finland, Murmansk, has already instituted a heightened state of readiness to ensure the security of our residents in reaction to the border closures, and Russians residing in Finland have protested, claiming that the Finnish government is interfering with cross-border family visits. This line of thinking is in perfect harmony with what Putin has said about the West being Russophobic and how it invades the Russian world and endangers communities in its vicinity. Russian claims of protecting ethnic Russians were a major component of Moscow's official rationale for its invasions of Ukraine in 2022 and Georgia in 2008, even though the West used to dismiss them. These claims are now part of a long-standing narrative to justify Russian expansionism.